Let me paint you a picture. It's Monday morning. Your alarm goes off and you already feel it, that low-level dread sitting in your chest before you've even opened your eyes. Same commute, same desk, same cycle. You check your bank account out of habit, and 3 days after payday, it's already looking thin. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you have this quiet, almost embarrassing thought. Is this just my life now? Here's the thing. Most people never say that out loud, because saying it means admitting the plan. School, job, work 40 years, retire at 65 might not actually be a plan. It might just be a script, and you've been following it without ever asking who wrote it. Today, I want to tell you about a guy who made $40,000 a year and retired at 34. No inheritance, no crypto, no six-figure salary. Just math. And once you see the math, you cannot unsee it. According to a 2023 Federal Reserve report, nearly 28% of non-retired American adults have zero retirement savings, and the median retirement balance for people aged 55 to 64, people approaching the finish line, is around $134,000. Financial planners say you need 25 times your annual expenses saved to retire safely. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million. Most people near retirement have 1/8 of that. The traditional plan isn't working, and our guy, let's call him Marcus, figured that out early. So instead of complaining, he reverse engineered the whole thing. Marcus graduated at 22 with $28,000 in student debt and a communications degree. He got a marketing job in the Midwest, eventually earning $40,000 a year. Nothing glamorous, but he did something almost nobody does. He sat down and asked himself one question, not, how do I make more money? How much do I actually need to live? He stripped his life down to the fundamentals: housing, food, transport, healthcare, a buffer for real life. Not monk mode, not rice and beans every night, just honest. And he found he could live comfortably on $25,000 a year. That number changed everything. After tax, Marcus took home around $33,000. With $25,000 in expenses, he had $8,000 a year left over, about $667 a month. He put every dollar of it into a low-cost index fund tracking the S&P 500. No stock picking, no day trading, just buying a tiny slice of the entire economy every single month and leaving it alone. Now here's the concept that makes this whole thing work. Compound interest. Einstein allegedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill. At the top, it's small. It barely picks up anything. But as it grows, it picks up more snow per rotation, and the bigger it gets, the faster it grows. By the bottom of the hill, it's enormous, not because you pushed harder, but because you started and let time do the work. Marcus started at 23, investing $667 a month at a conservative 7% annual return. In year one, he earned maybe $280 in growth, barely noticeable. By year 5, his portfolio was around $46,000, growing by $3,200 a year. By year 10, he had $110,000, and his investment returns were nearly matching his contributions. The snowball had taken over. By year 11, he hit $625,000. Marcus retired at 34. Now, why $625,000 specifically? Because of something called the 4% rule. A Stanford researcher named William Bengen established that you can withdraw 4% of a properly invested portfolio every year, indefinitely, and it will sustain itself. The market's long-term average growth outpaces the withdrawal. So, if Marcus needs $25,000 a year, he divides that by 0.04. The answer is $625,000. That's his freedom number. Not a million, not 2 million. $625,000 on a $40,000 salary in 11 years. I know the objections. Taxes, inflation, healthcare, market crashes. Let's go through them quickly. On taxes, Marcus used a Roth IRA and a traditional 401k aggressively. The Roth lets your money grow and be withdrawn completely tax-free. The The 401k reduced his taxable income while he was working. Both dramatically improved his efficiency. If you're not using these, you're leaving money behind every single year. On inflation, the 4% rule already accounts for it. Bengen's research covered decades of market data, including major inflationary periods. It holds. On healthcare, Marcus kept his annual withdrawals low enough to qualify for subsidized coverage through the ACA marketplace. Because his retirement income came from investments rather than a salary, he had real control over his taxable income. Most people miss this entirely. On market crashes, he kept a 2-year cash buffer. 2 years of living expenses in a high-yield savings account, completely separate from his portfolio. If the market crashed, he lived off cash while the portfolio recovered. Every major crash in history, 2008, 2020, recovered within 2 to 3 years. Every objection has an answer. The system works, but you have to build it. Here's what actually drives this whole thing. It's not your income, it's your savings rate. That single number, the percentage of your take-home pay you invest, controls your entire timeline to freedom. Save 10% and you'll work roughly 40 more years. That's the traditional plan. Save 25% and it drops to about 32 years. Hit 50% and you're looking at 17 years. At 65%, around 10 years. The math doesn't care about your feelings or your excuses. It just works. So what do you actually do right now? Figure out your real number. Track 3 months of actual spending. Most people are genuinely shocked. Then multiply your annual expenses by 25. That's your FIRE number. Write it down somewhere visible. Open a Roth IRA today, not this weekend. Today, Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, any of the big 3. Put it in a total market index fund. VTI has an expense ratio of 0.03%. $3 per $10,000 invested per year. Actively managed funds charge 1 to 2% and almost always underperform the index anyway. If your employer matches your 401k contributions, take the full match. A 50% match is an instant 50% return before the market does anything. Not taking it is walking past free money every single pay period. Then automate everything. Transfer your investment contribution the day your paycheck hits. Before you see it, before you can spend it. Your own psychology is the biggest enemy here. Automation removes you from the equation entirely and then leave it alone. Every time you pull money out early or pause contributions just for a few months, you're lifting the snowball off the hill and carrying it back to the top. Leave it, let it roll. I want to be straight with you. This isn't about hating work or retiring to a hammock somewhere. This is about having the choice, the ability to say no. No to the job that disrespects you. No to staying somewhere that's shrinking you because you're scared you can't afford to leave. Gallup consistently finds that around 70% of workers are disengaged at their jobs. 70%. That means the majority of people are spending the largest portion of their waking adult lives doing something that doesn't fulfill them because they never did the math that might have shown them another way. Marcus did the math, and the math showed him the door. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Not tomorrow, not after the next pay rise. Today, open the account, find your number, start the snowball. Because Marcus wasn't special, he was just early.